Hello. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Emma, and I've been a pagan for many years now. My practice is comprised of traditional British witchcraft, the non-Wiccan variety, Vodou and Obeah, and it's a mixture that I feel fully represents myself as a mixed-race woman. So, I thought I'd just pop on and share some thoughts about ancestor worship and spirit work at this time of year as Samhain rolls around. And I think this is a topic that is on many people's minds as the veil thins, if you will. So I thought I'd share a few thoughts. So when it comes to ancestor worship, I think that that is less dictated by tradition. I think that death is something that all of humanity deals with at some point, whether it's their own or that of the loved ones. And so I feel like it's more of a universal aspect. And working with your ancestors doesn't require you to be initiated or involved in any particular tradition. You could even argue that people who are not magical practitioners practice some form of ancestor worship, by taking flowers to graves or having photos of loved ones. But within many magical paths and traditions, many people have ancestor altars that contain mementos. And sometimes it's just about creating a space where you can sit and remember them or talk to them. And ancestor worship, I think, it does require some action. So, whether that action is just setting up the altar or going to the grave, taking care of it, cleaning it, leaving offerings of favourite foods or drinks or whatever. So, I feel like that's ancestor worship. And working with the spirits, however, I do think is often dictated by tradition and path because each tradition will have their own requirements of what needs to be done. So, for example, if you take Vodou, which is kind of quite organized and structured, then there are specific dances, drum beats, lowers who you might invoke to kind of facilitate that. Whereas in traditional British witchcraft and Obeah, I feel like they are more folk practices, and so you might draw upon um, different methods, if you will, to kind of work with the spirits in particular ways. Whether that's kind of divination or whether to affect change in magical workings. But I think although the two topics of ancestor worship and spirit work are related, I do feel like they are very um, different things and different practices. And I think part of finding your own path and part of the joy of that is kind of figuring those out for yourself. Because as much as we belong to a tradition, if something doesn't sit right with us, then I think that if you use it and you're thinking, no, this isn't right, then it's not going to work. So, although our paths and traditions can guide us along the way, ultimately, I believe it is down to us as practitioners to find what works for us. So, yeah, so there you go. Just a few thoughts. Have a happy Samhain and blessings.